Sliding no back now, I'm feeling like Venom. I told her kick it, back him, squeezing a Mac, lemons, walk down, boy.
It's the dark skin saviors, my neighbor. Hey man, y'all saw the title of the video, that's why you clicked on it. It's called how an entitled no-name actor destroyed a Disney classic. Snow White. This is about the snow. I ain't even watched that shit yet, bro. But a lot of people be saying, man, this joint is trash.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like about 2 or maybe 3 weeks ago, like on my stream, my chat was telling me to react to a different video about this old Snow White thing, like how people were rating it and all that. And bro, they were clowning the crazy crap out of this show. Like he had like that joint had, I think it was low rated star, whatever. Like because of, it's like why would you use like a fake dwarf?
Oh, you know the because you watch
dwarfs?
No, it's like
CGI.
It would be more real if they use actual real dwarf.
Oh, like short people.
Like it will make more sense. Like it will feel more,
like actual
original.
Humans, like actual humans.
Yeah, like it will feel more original than trying to. So there's like so much stuff about this show that it's like.
It's a show?
No, a movie. Sorry, that it's like to the core. Even the actress, that was crazy.
But anyway, let's go see what this
Disney
video
was warned for years that their live-action remake of Snow White would be an abysmal failure. They ignored the warnings and instead made every wrong decision possible, leading to a box office bomb. Theaters around the world are empty. The film sold 50% less than they projected.
Ouch!
A 1.6 out of 10 star rating on IMDb.
I didn't even know what the rating was. I just know it was low.
Dwarfs will give you nightmares, and the little people they replaced with CGI have filed a class action lawsuit against Disney. Walt Disney himself is turning in his grave because he personally requested that the company should never change, alter, or remake Snow White, but they did it anyway by casting Rachel Zegler, who insisted that they change the entire film to make it more politically correct. Rachel called the original Prince Charming a stalker, insisted that Snow White was not yearning for love, but actually dreamed of being a leader. Rachel also demanded she be paid more for, quote, standing in a dress for 18 hours. Zegler created so much controversy that Disney had to hire a personal security detail for her co-star Gal Gadot because of the countless death threats she was receiving. This movie is an absolute dumpster fire, and Rachel's response to the film bombing proved that everyone's suspicions about her were correct.
I'm a narcissist.
And yet none of that has anything to do with why people were suspicious about Rachel Zegler in the first place. In 2018, Rachel's friend sent her a tweet about an open casting call for Steven Spielberg's film adaptation of West Side Story. So 16-year-old Zegler recorded and submitted an audition tape.
Bernardo and Anita, are you all mourning about a fight that's gonna happen tonight?
Now, she was definitely a promising young talent. She spent her childhood acting in countless plays and developed an impressive singing voice. Rachel was just one of 30,000 who auditioned for the role of Maria. Without any professional acting experience, an agent, or connections in Hollywood, she was selected for the lead role. Her performance earned critical acclaim, and she went on to win the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. The industry plant accusations were formed because some people simply do not believe that a no-name actor could get this lucky. She was basically hand-selected by Steven Spielberg. Then again, with the entertainment industry being flooded with nepo babies and people born into immense wealth, Rachel being essentially a random girl from New Jersey securing an A-list role actually might be a step in the right direction for Hollywood. However, they may have chose the wrong girl, because her inability to keep her politically charged opinions to herself started to cause problems for Disney executives. As if West Side Story wasn't already a massive introduction to Hollywood, her next role was even bigger, one that could set her up for a lifetime of success. And that was being cast as Snow White in Disney's live-action remake of the classic. Rachel chose to make this monumental announcement on Twitter where she wrote, "Yes, I am Snow White. No, I am not bleaching my skin for the role." Rachel deleted this tweet shortly after sending it out to the world. However, the reason she brought up her skin color in the the first place was to address the criticism she was receiving online. In the original fairy tale and the 1937 animated film, Snow White is depicted as having skin as white as snow. It is quite literally the inception of the princess's
They were trying to get her to bleach her
Rachel
skin.
Zegler is of Colombian descent and has more of an olive skin tone. Now, there definitely were some extreme takes, suggesting that Disney is evil and only casting POC characters to cause outrage. There were also some blatantly racist takes, but most people were just genuinely confused why Snow White wasn't going to be white. And this does seem to be a recurring theme for Disney.
This always happens.
The original 1989 animation of The Little
Yeah,
Mermaid
The Little Mermaid
depicted Ariel
too.
as a
Always
white
happens.
woman, whereas the 2023 live-action remake cast Halle Bailey as Ariel, who is African American. And yes, this film was also accused of pandering, trying to change something that was a non-issue in the first place. However, defenders pointed out that mermaids don't have a race because they are not real. Normally, these controversies lead to failure, but the film grossed over $560 million worldwide and made a solid profit. But Zegler insisted that the Snow White remake was based on an alternative version of the story, one that doesn't have to do with her skin color. She said, "It fell back to another version of Snow White that was told in history, where she survived a snowstorm that occurred when she was a baby, and so the king and queen decided to name her Snow White to remind her of her resilience. One of the core points in our film for any young woman or young person is remembering how strong you actually are. And while this may seem like a small nuance that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, it was an insight into the major changes that were coming next, because the more Zegler talked about the film, the more it seemed like it was going to be a disaster, particularly in this Variety interview where she talked about how she and the writers are giving Snow White a modern twist.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince. She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Snow White dreams of being a leader.
That's where they fucked up.
When you start changing shit,
Because it's like, bro, why you trying to change what everybody grew up? You know what
man, like, just leave the shit, man.
Nigga, that's what made Snow White popping in early 2000s, nigga.
Yeah.
Just because this is a 1900 movie, that don't mean, nigga, the shit ain't still iconic, nigga. Snow fucking White, it's a princess.
Bro, we watched. I watched Snow White back when I was in Nigeria, bro. Like we used to, cause like we didn't have like really good TV. We had a black and white TV, but we was able to watch it going to like our friend's house. Like their dad, bought like a color TV, whatever, and we would sit down like in the living room and watch Snow White. We probably watched that shit like 30 times, bro. Yeah. Like it was one of those movies, cartoon that we enjoyed, and I just. To change the old narrative for us, like years down the no.
It's kind of like making SpongeBob blue, bro. Like,
but
it wouldn't hit.
But the thing is, it wouldn't hit because people are used to that. But I'm saying, like, as far as the story, you know what I'm saying?
How much you want to bet,
you
nigga?
Can't change the story.
If they remaster SpongeBob and made that nigga blue or purple, nigga,
it would be a problem too.
Bro, niggas be like, bro, this ain't even SpongeBob.
But I feel like
nigga.
plus the story, it's only gonna make it worse. Like the fact that you change the character's color and then you changing the story.
They didn't even change the color of SpongeBob in today's world. They just made it CGI and that shit still did ass.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, it's not the same vibe.
So you think like, cause then with that type of shit, the race is gonna come in part. Cause it's like, okay, we know Snow White as a white motherfucker the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you put a black nigga in there, people gon', you know what I'm saying? Some people gonna feel some type of way about it.
Yeah.
So
and then at the end of the day, it shouldn't be about race.
Yeah.
Right? It shouldn't be about race because it's a fairy tale, right? But it's
I'm saying, like, it's like the character that people are used to.
Yeah, it's the character that people are used to.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really get mad when people complain about it.
Yeah.
And I also feel like, bro, an idea
Yeah.
of trying to market, trying to make money.
It is. It's definitely a marketing
Because if
scheme.
they include, black, people in, a cartoon that you watch your whole life that is being white, it's like, okay, now let's do it, make the character black,
So you gotta, because you gotta kind of ask.
Yeah, it's a marketing scheme.
Yeah. So you gotta kind of ask the question to these people that direct the film, and hire the cast. Like you gotta kind of ask, okay, are y'all trying to make the film? Like, are y'all trying to make this movie nostalgic, or are you just trying to make
money?
No, you
He trying to
change
flip
something.
things,
Yeah,
like
you trying to change
because if you really want nostalgia, I feel like it was always the point of doing these type of films and remaking like live versions of these films.
Yeah.
is to bring nostalgia.
Yeah,
I thought that was always the like
if
the
I think,
idea.
oh, but I'm about to make a new Shrek, and then they bring Shrek, and that nigga blue.
Bro,
like, what the fuck, nigga?
there's just certain things you shouldn't do. Like, like imagine a live action Dragon Ball Z.
But yeah,
What in the entire or Naruto, bro?
Yeah.
Like, get that shit out of my fucking face.
we're gonna see what they tell
The
me.
prince, she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Snow White dreams of being a leader? Why not write a totally new story instead of remaking the old ones?
Facts.
It has nothing to do with Snow White.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with Snow White.
There's nothing wrong with dreaming about true love, but people were not overreacting in the comments. Zegler supported stripping this classic story of its roots.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
Bro, so but it's kind of like you're discrediting the writer.
Rachel's tone might come off silly to some, but it is evidently so sarcastic. Referring to Prince Charming as a stalker is inaccurate and disrespectful. We are not talking about just any Disney film. We are talking about the first ever full-length animated feature film in history. This is quite literally Walt Disney's baby.
I mean,
now, people are
that's why he told that nigga not to fuck with that shit. That's Walt Disney's baby right there. He said, nigga, don't touch my shit.
And also, like, I understand why she would say weird, because in this generation that we're in, when you're stalking, is actually there's been a lot of bad thing behind people that are always stalking. Is it they're stalking to do evil and all that? But back in that time, a guy that loves a woman or a woman that loves a guy, stalking is kind of like an impression of, oh, I love this person. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? In that time. But now we're in a generation that's like, if a girl see a guy picking over the window, like, oh my God, like, you know, like I find this girl, you know, beautiful, and you know, like I have a crush on this girl.
Nigga is not stalking, nigga is in love, dog. It's that simple.
I mean, nigga, if you really think about it, nigga, we do it in modern.
Yeah, we do that
just
shit.
on a fucking screen.
Yeah.
Nigga, we could stalk niggas Instagram, stalk niggas Snapchat, stalk niggas story. Like,
They just didn't have internet back then.
like if a nigga like you, he like you, bro.
And not in this age, it's like it's creepy.
But yeah, to a degree, it is,
outside,
nigga.
you know,
It
if you
still
do
is
outside.
creepy, nigga. There is, nigga, if you stalk a
Back
nigga
then,
Instagram, nigga,
it's
that's
like
creepy.
it's not something that they really, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's like back in when did she say what's made? Like
Just because you admire somebody's beauty and you fall in love with somebody, there is ways you could go about it that is creepy as fuck. Don't get it twisted. There is some weird ass niggas out here, but
that's some U.S.
like the same shit Prince Charming did, you can't do that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't do it now, sadly, but it's still a good story. You know what I mean? It still makes for a good film.
Ain't nobody even thinking like that,
You
bro.
ain't going up to no bitch.
Nah, but who?
So beautiful. I would have met. Like, you don't do all that.
Nah, but who was really thinking like that though? Like, oh my
Like-
God, this dude is a stalker. We must change this story all around.
Yeah.
Like, who?
That's
Nobody
crazy.
was
It's kind of
thinking.
disrespectful, like you said, to the writers, bro.
Like, you just came out of nowhere and felt like, oh yeah, this dude is really
And
a
the fact
stalker.
that he said it's
Let's
the
change it.
first animated joint in like ever, bro.
Yeah, bro, you fucked that shit up. Just
God damn, nigga, you
Make
kind of
that
sound
look
crazy.
like a weirdo, nigga.
Yeah,
The
bro.
film in history. This is quite literally Walt Disney's baby. Now, people are already a little apprehensive towards the countless remakes of old Disney classics, but Rachel's lack of class and grace pushed
swear I've seen her.
Disney
That was fire.
to
I swear I've seen her in another film.
Despite
Yeah, I don't know
that,
what I've seen.
she continued to express her disdain for the original film.
I was scared of the original cartoon. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once, never revisited Snow White again.
What's interesting about Rachel claiming to be scared of the original film is that she also
How old
said
is
the
she?
exact opposite during her press tour, showing pictures of her as a child in her Snow White dress and how she always dreamed as a little girl of being this princess. This constant flip-flopping along with her sarcastic tone just soured people's perception of her. But not only did she seem unappreciative of a Disney classic, she also made some interesting comments about her next role as Anthea in Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job. I'm being so serious.
While yes, even actors have bills to pay and need a job to do that, some interpreted the remark as snarky and annoying. Now, to be fair, later in the interview, Rachel does go on to express her gratitude for receiving this role, considering it was only her second Hollywood film ever. But her unapologetic attitude on the red carpet continued to stir the pot, and she just kept making it worse, specifically during the writer's strike of 2023. The Writers Guild of America represents thousands of writers in film, TV, radio, and online media. They are the backbone of Hollywood's content. Despite their importance, Hollywood executives restructured the industry to drastically reduce residual payments, leaving most writers with little to no income after their work is uploaded to apps like Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, etc. So the Guild went on strike to renegotiate and push for higher pay. Rachel Zegler also used her voice to support the strike.
If I'm going to stay there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
She's like everything people hate about this generation distilled into a single person. At this point, I'm sure you are noticing a pattern. While we hope that deep down Rachel's intentions are pure, and we hope that she truly is just trying to have an overall positive impact on the world, she has a terrible way of expressing her opinions.
I feel like that's what separates a good actor from a normal actor.
Two movies under
Or
her belt
actress.
and already aggressively demanding higher pay came off extremely
Some people just do this shit for money. Some people actually lock into that shit.
writers, because main characters like Zegler are often compensated extremely generously. By this point, her reputation was at an all-time
But nigga, this is your only second, like this is your second film. Like,
Disney was going to axe this.
relax, bro.
Countless people expressed that Rachel Zegler is the sole reason that they would not go to watch the movie. But then somehow Disney managed to make things even worse. They announced that they would be changing Snow White's 7 dwarfs to the more politically correct Snow White's diverse group of magical creatures of all sizes and genders. Photos of the cast were leaked onto the internet, which sparked outrage. These look like medieval times reenactors at the local fair. Disney quickly responded and said that these were not pictures of the actual set, but nobody believed them. The only reason Disney planned on changing the dwarves in the first place was because of a comment made by Hollywood star Peter Dinklage.
That's a fire-ass actor right
was
here.
not progressive enough.
That nigga is phenomenal.
They're very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White.
Yeah.
But you're still telling the story of Snow White,
yeah.
7 dwarfs. Sure. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes no sense to me.
Well, so
You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that backward story of 7 dwarves living in a cave. What the are you doing, man?
Even though Peter Dinklage has built an illustrious Hollywood legacy with countless roles as a little person, he seemed pretty upset with Disney. They promptly responded that they would avoid reinforcing stereotypes and would be consulting with members of the dwarfism community to make the 7 characters more inclusive. Most people just looked at this as Disney once again pandering to another social issue, but what often happens when trying to please everyone for the sake of being politically correct, you end up pleasing no one.
What they're doing is pretty much you're
Oh, that's the guy from Jackass.
Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. It's 4 dwarfs.
Disney was panicking for a solution to make both sides happy, and nobody could.
That shit is sad though. That shit is sad, bro. It's like you taking away from people that actually exist. Bro.
Yeah.
Like people that are dwarf, it's like, bro, I can't change it, nigga. I'm a dwarf, and I gotta be proud of it. You know what I'm saying? Even though society might not, respect them because they're like little people, they don't take them serious most of the time. But it's like, nigga, we actually have a role of of something that that stands for us.
Yeah.
And y'all decide y'all gonna use CGI.
That's a lot of great actors too.
Yeah, just like the dude that you showed that you was talking about.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
got
bro,
the
why would
Jackass
you do
nigga.
that, bro? Nigga, that's kind of fucked up, bro.
Like there's people, there's little people that's actual actors too. You know what I'm saying? That they want roles like that, but everybody's like, oh, they're probably being sensitive and like, oh, they don't know how people will react to that and shit like that.
But you're willing to like
Use CGI.
but you're willing to fucking make Snow White another race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
It don't make no sense.
it is kind of stupid.
The solution to this problem would be, instead of casting real actors, Disney decided to eliminate them and use CGI dwarves instead, which will provide enough nightmare fuel to last you the rest of 2025. The dwarves look like scary monsters, not cute, charming friends. The overuse of CGI in this film allowed to take shortcuts. Instead of creating detailed artistic sets and costumes, they relied on animation, which made the film feel cheap, hollow, and soulless. Like, wasn't this supposed to be a live-action remake?
Right, like, what the fuck?
Action? Why is there so much CGI? Why does it look like a really bad cartoon? Additionally, the significance of the dwarves to the story was drastically reduced. Grumpy and Dopey got a decent amount of screen time, while the other 5 dwarves were barely shown enough for the viewers to be able to distinguish them from one another. Ironically, all of these decisions were made to avoid backlash from the dwarfism community, and now the little people who were removed from the film are now planning a class action lawsuit against Disney for replacing them with cartoons.
I ain't mad at that, bro.
Actress Allie Chapman, who is 3 foot 8 inches tall, said, 7 talented little people actors could have played these roles in the live-action remake, and yet they chose to use cartoons. It's an insult and discriminatory. You ever see one of those tragic situations where it's extremely foggy and there's a traffic jam on the highway, and you have cars speeding into the fog, just crashing into each other? That is this film. And surely it couldn't get any worse, right? Wrong. Because now there was a major dispute between the 2 stars of the film, Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler. Fans noticed sometime between 2023 and 2024 that Gal and Rachel may have developed some tension. As you can see in this interview, Gal is being professional, looking and smiling while Zegler is speaking. But whenever Gal is speaking, Zegler refuses to look at her, often looking down at her feet or off to the side. Their body language screams that there is tension between them, and these assumptions would be proven true. When Disney released the official trailer for Snow White, Rachel thanked the fans for their support, receiving over 120 million views in 24 hours. She used that big moment to make a political statement. And always remember, Free Palestine. While some saw this as an honorable act of solidarity, others interpreted it as a jab at her co-star. Gal Gadot is Israeli and even served in their military. Gal has been outwardly supportive of her country, specifically posting support for the IDF and civilian hostages taken during the October 7th Hamas attack. Almost immediately, Gal began getting a concerning amount of death threats. Things got so bad that Disney had to hire a personal security detail for Gadot. One of the Disney producers, Mark Platt, flew from Los Angeles to New York to have a personal crisis talk with Zegler. Platt had to remind her how much was at stake with the movie and her career before asking her to post heedfully. The son of the Disney producer was criticized online for his father trying to reprimand Zegler, to which he responded, "Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicity for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires, at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. Now, Rachel Zegler cannot necessarily be held responsible for the actions of other people. After all, her and her co-star are doing the exact same thing. They are just expressing support for opposite sides. But all of this could have been avoided if they just left politics out of a children's movie. But Zegler was insistent on making her political heard at any opportunity she could.
Vote for Kamala Harris. And it's actually non-negotiable. Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights. Come on. Go vote blue. And if you disagree with the sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
Yeah, she should have kept politics out of shit.
President Donald Trump. She posted on her Instagram story, "I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leaning us towards a world I do not want to live in. Leaning us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. She doesn't have a daughter, by the way. Leading us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want. Leading us towards a world that is fearful. I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke fear this morning, and I am here with you. To cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forward. This law should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. This sent the media into an all-out frenzy, particularly conservative media, who were shocked that Disney was allowing their star to publicly condemn half the country.
Hello, Disney. You're gonna have to redo your film again. Because this woman is a pig, and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
Rachel finally crossed the line.
That's
Disney
tough.
was officially fed up with her and decided to take action. First, I'm assuming they made her apologize because she redacted her comments she made about the election. From there, Zegler reportedly began working with a social media guru paid for by Disney to vet any posts before the film's March 21st debut. They essentially had someone monitoring her social media so she wasn't able to sabotage the film any further.
Damn.
The damage had already been done. The film officially
That's
released in
crazy.
theaters worldwide on March 21st, 2025. There was a slight chance that all this negative publicity would actually draw more attention to the film, increase ticket sales, and lead to a successful debut. Unfortunately for Disney, the opposite happened. Fans knew this movie was going to suck way before it ever released, and no matter how many professional critics on Rotten Tomatoes are writing positive reviews, the fans have made their statement with a lack of support. And as a result, Snow White has suffered a disastrous opening weekend at the global box office, earning only $87.3 million worldwide, which sounds like a lot until you realize that it had a staggering $250 million production budget, which some reports suggest
Nigga said, ouch! They can't even make their money back.
Where my money at?
70% loss, making it one of Disney's biggest box office bombs in recent history. This performance is nearly exactly the same as The Little Mermaid. It had the same budget and had a very similar opening weekend. However, The Little Mermaid was actually a pretty good remake
I don't know.
with positive.
Like, bro,
That one actually ended up doing good.
You know what I mean?
She brought her
It doesn't
emotion.
matter about race.
Yeah, it's like she brought her emotion into, like, I don't know what, because, like, you know, her and the other girl, they had, like, attention, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And her is saying, like, you know, free Palestine, whatever. Like, I'm not against that, but I just feel like the fact that she brought, like, you know, her emotion based off of, like, you know, just from what I'm hearing, so I feel like she brought her emotion into, you know,
Like
something
her
that they're
job.
trying, her job, and then it's like, you know, that it's like it's worldwide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nigga, if
Bringing
you're gonna
that-
do a movie, bro, like you can't be like your personal life, but literally everything changes, bro. Like you can't just do whatever the fuck you want to do because nigga, you can jeopardize niggas' movie because that's how important shit is, bro. Like nigga, you
It's
can't.
not just you.
Yeah,
bro.
it's not just like you. You can't be like, oh yeah, fuck Donald Trump or vote Kamala or what. Like, but all that shit, and you know politics, but that shit's crazy. That shit get crazy.
It's like you can mix politics with like
you mix
most
politics with
especially
your
if you,
job,
if
bro.
you working on like, you know, like being a movie actor or actress, whatever. It's like you hold like a certain power of like, you know, audience. Which like bro, you have every right, you know what I'm saying, to be able to speak on what you feel, what you think, you know what I'm saying, like, which I totally agree. But I feel like in that stamp of work, that's like you took the moment of when a video, you know, like a promo trailer,
for the movie
that you're in, that you the main actor, you know what I'm saying, actress, and you use that
kid's movie at that.
a kid's movie at that. And you use that moment to kind of like create some type of like political like situation, which I feel like it's not right, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not right because you're promoting something that, you know, people are like gonna watch.
You can do that shit, just not when you're filming like when you're an actor. It's just
I feel like she could do that, but not
'Cause you're
commenting
jeopardizing
that
everything.
under, you know, like you like the main actress, and you commenting that under a video that is blowing up for a movie.
Like everybody's excited
that, you know,
to see.
that everybody's excited to see, and it's not just a movie that is new.
Yeah.
It's a movie that's related to something.
It's a very
that everybody
important
is connected
film, bro.
to. You know what I'm saying? And then you decide to use that movie and go on comments under that shit. At that point, I feel like that is. That you know what is gonna happen if you do that. You know, it's not even like the company you're working with. It's the people. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna start some type of a problem. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Any political shit, but it's left and right, bro. Like,
it's because like, bro, Little Mermaid is a prime example of like race doesn't really matter. Yeah. It matters when it comes to like, okay, what are your goals? Like, are you wanna like, do you wanna bring back nostalgia or do you wanna like make money?
You just wanna switch. Yeah.
Like nigga, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
On their opening weekend. However, The Little Mermaid was actually a pretty good remake with positive reviews. Fans later decided to give the movie a shot, which resulted in a $569 million worldwide box office earnings. But due to the overwhelming agreement for people who actually watched the movie that it sucks, and then people straight up boycotting, I don't think Snow White's gonna get a second wind. This is a bomb. And Rachel Zegler's response to the box office failure was nothing short of delusional.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws,
yeah, she
and
heard.
despite my cracks and my bricks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
People who already thought Zegler was a narcissist.
That one hurt her, bro. That shit hurt.
After seeing this statement, they suspected she was trying to make this film about her. They suspected that she did not care for the legacy of Disney and that all she wanted was the spotlight for herself. And honestly, this response makes it seem like those assumptions are now justified. But it's a confusing response because the film was a massive flop. Like essentially she's saying, haha, my movies are so great, you just have to line up and you have to watch them, but that's not the case. People are actually not waiting in line for this film specifically because of her. And as easy as it is to continuously blame her for the failure of this film, it's only fair to admit that Rachel Zegler's performance was actually decent. She is a great singer, and she definitely performed well considering most of what makes the film actually bad was outside of her control. Like most Disney live-action remakes, Snow White just felt a bit bland and lacked the magic of the original. The CGI looked cheap, the colors are dull and boring, the evil queen didn't feel very evil at all. These remakes often struggle to capture the same charm, making them feel like a corporate cash grab. But since Disney will lose money on this film, perhaps they won't make this same mistake going forward. But the biggest learning lesson for Disney here is that the internet outrage is not fake. When people say, hey, your main character is insufferable and I will not spend my money to see this movie, they're not lying. When people say they genuinely want politics to remain out of a children's movie,
yeah, that's agreeable. Like, but the thing is, one thing that you can't do is like you don't have control over what people will do. Yeah. Cause they expect her to do that. You know what I'm saying? You just casting somebody that seem like they're a good actress, they're the best for that role. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then boom, they're going in there and they just start doing fuck just happened. You know what I'm saying? Type shit out of nowhere. It's like
they had to monitor her shit.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
It's like you have no control. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's a kid's movie. And you brought politics into it, and that's how like bro. She young, bro. She 20 years old, bro. Nigga, 20 years old, like bro. Bless you. Even when you're 18, America tell you an adult. I ain't gonna lie. When you're 18, you still one of the dumbest motherfucker in the world, bro. You still a kid, bro. Even when you in your like 25 going to 30, bro. You are at that moment of actually developing to becoming an adult. Yeah. But when you like 18, 19, 20, bro, you still young, bro. You still have a lot to learn. So for her, I didn't even think she think twice, bro. Yeah. When she decided she just gonna bring politics into a kid, you know, stuff. Yeah. Like that's crazy.
Honestly, she sold, bro.
She did.
Bro, a movie that shit can set you up for life, bro. But we're talking about Snow
This
White.
is a generational fucking movie, bro.
Bro, this is like some Tom Holland ass shit, bro. Gonna set yourself up. Man, you sold, man. You fumbled a bag, bro.
She brought emotion.
All you have to do
Now
is
nobody
shut up.
now nobody gonna want to fuck with her. Cause she don't know how to leave politics. out of
Yeah,
shit.
now you just fucked their own job up because it's like people gonna be scared to hire your ass.
Yeah,
because they think you gonna do some stuff.
So you're a liability at this point.
It's even gonna make people like have a hard time to even want to hire anybody in general that is in your age because they'll be like, okay, we gotta make sure we double check with you before they learn from your mistake. And when they hire somebody in your age or even anybody in general, they're gonna try to hatch some more stuff into their fucking list of paper that you signed.
Fucking audition,
you know what I'm
like,
saying?
hold on.
So that they know that you're not gonna come in this joint and bring politics or do some dumb shit that you're not supposed to be.
I'm surprised they don't tell them that.
I don't think that because
They probably do. They probably.
She probably don't listen, but honestly, I'm pretty sure they tell them do not do something to jeopardize the movie. Or some shit like
but
that.
they won't. I don't think they have anything specific.
Bro, I'm pretty sure that shit is on the contract. Hey, before this, do not do this, do not do that,
Shit, if
do
it
not do
was,
anything
nigga,
to jeopardize the movie.
they would have sued her, and then she would have got fucked up if it was.
Yeah, that's what
If
I'm
it was
saying.
legally bind.
That's what I'm saying.
Binding.
They would have sued her if
fucked her
there's.
shit up.
Yeah.
If it was like in contracts.
Yeah, I don't
They're
think it
not
was a
lying.
contract.
When people say they
She definitely
genuinely
had to sign
want
NDAs,
politics
though.
to remain out of a children's movie, they are not lying. And when people say it's better to just invent new stories instead of alter the classics, they are not lying.
Right.
People won, but the truth is, this film should have never been made. Walt Disney himself was extremely protective of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This was essentially his baby. Walt reportedly rejected multiple ideas for sequels, including a proposed short called Snow White Returns, and was adamant that the original story should not be altered or expanded, as he believed Snow White was a standalone masterpiece that should remain untouched. And it's extremely evident that Disney should have honored their creator's one wish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like niggas.
That's kind of fucked up that niggas just still went ahead and make a movie.
I know that nigga Disney. He in his grill like. God, I swear these niggas beat me on.
Somebody, man, what do you nigga do? I told you niggas not to change this
If
shit
you
up.
really think about it, they kind of ruined this
I said,
nigga's
God,
legacy.
send me back.
They
Yeah, I'm about to kill this nigga.
They kind of tarnishing my nigga name. Like, if you really want to fucking think about it, bro, they kind of tarnishing.
Because it's like now when they want to make another shit, it's probably people are gonna be, man, you just gonna fuck it up again.
Like, damn, bro, Disney is really fucking up the name, bro.
That's crazy, bro.
Who I just know if I was in heaven and I seen some shit like this. Oh my god, bro! I told these niggas, bro.
Don't fuck with my shit.
And it's the fact that you're in heaven and you can't even do shit about
Yeah,
it.
you can't do shit. You just watching that shit happen.
You
Nigga.
just watching that shit and you're like, bro, you see how they're taking this step, you're like, bro, what the fuck y'all niggas doing? And I just told y'all niggas, bro,
Stay away from my shit.
y'all just read after y'all change the story. Where the fuck is this door?
Talk about
And nigga, that's the what the fuck? Oh my god! Nigga, y'all about to publish this shit, nigga. Y'all coming kidding me? I ain't told y'all
What's up, man? Nigga, speak on you niggas some heaven, bro.
Oh man, I'd be pissed.
Nah, but that's crazy though. Bro.
I'd be pissed.
Honestly, they said she, but I haven't watched the movie, so they said she was a decent, actress. You know what I'm saying?
she's good,
it's like,
but
the
it's
movie wasn't really ruined because of her. The movie was ruined because
the movie was bad too.
The movie was ass. They had fucking
like the color of the movie, the CGI,
everything was just fucking shit.
Yeah.
But
The
she
story
just ruined it
changing.
with her own personal life. What she believes in. But
That's crazy.
hey man, anyway, hope you guys learned a valuable lesson from this shit.
Let us know y'all opinion in the comment section,
Yes,
man.
sir.
What's your intake on this video?
Yes, sir.
Let us know in the comment section. If y'all agree or disagree, let us know.
And also let us know what other movie or show she be. I swear I've seen her ass before too.
Yeah, I think
maybe in
I've
the Disney Channel show. I don't know. I've seen her ass before somewhere.
But thank y'all for tuning
Yes,
in,
sir.
and we out.
Peace.